And breaking news tonight, Mayor Brandon Scott cancels a trip overseas. Good evening, I'm Maxine Stryker.
And I'm Kai Jackson. The mayor was set to fly across the Atlantic to take part in a documentary premiere highlighting his crime reduction strategy. A
strategy that has yet to see murders fall below 300 per year here in Baltimore and is facing some tough questions. Keith Daniels is live with this story now. Keith.
Well, Maxine and Kai, it's a new film about the mayor. Here's the poster. It highlights, as you mentioned, his crime-fighting plan, one that he considers to be successful, with the mayor going to England to be a part of the global premiere. But tonight, why that trip is canceled.
And I made a promise to Baltimore.
Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott out front each time during most city news events. Notably present, of course, as the city's leader amid critical circumstances. But coming soon to a theater not near you. The Body Politic, a documentary to debut on the mayor's endeavors to curb violence in the city. The 92-minute film debuting this week at the Sheffield Doc Fest in England. The story, first reported by the Baltimore Brew, confirmed by Fox 45 News. Dr. Trevor Perry Giles.
But it's a pretty sophisticated way to campaign for re-election.
A professor of political communication and rhetoric at the University of Maryland calls Scott's movie simply a political ploy.
What else would it be? With a mayor running for re-election in the next year or so, there's nothing about anything that he does that isn't political.
The film is set to debut in England Thursday. The mayor's scheduled to be there for the premiere, even though there was no word of that from his office. But late tonight, a sudden change of plans. The update coming after our questions to the mayor's office, including what days will the mayor be out of the country? Does he intend to have a viewing in Baltimore City? If so, when? And who is paying for the trip? Those questions sent at about 3:30 today. 5 hours later, a response from the mayor's office saying the mayor's schedule has actually changed and he will no longer be attending the premiere because of other pressing priorities. Still, the show will go on. According to the festival's website, the documentary was filmed during the 2020 mayoral campaign and Scott's first year in office as he sought a holistic approach to reducing gun violence, an approach Scott has said has been successful. Homicides and non-fatal shootings are down compared to this time last year, but a deeper dive into the data shows crime overall is not going in the right direction. According to BPD data, as of May 27th, total Part 1 crime is up 20% compared to last year. That includes robberies, carjackings, rapes, and auto thefts. Total violent crime is down 4%, but that stat does not include common assault, which is up 13%.
He knows, and his campaign knows, that the numbers probably don't add up and that they're not going to be as persuasive. So what do? You find a documentary and a documentarian who's going to present an image of you, and based on what you sent and what it looks like this documentary does, is he's a crime-fighting, forthright, honest guy who's out there working hard for the people of Baltimore.
Well, the film's North American premiere will take place on Father's Day, June 18th, at the DC Docs Festival in Washington. Now, it's unclear when the film will make its way to Baltimore. Well, live tonight, Keith Daniels, Fox 45 News.
Keith, thank you. Also at City Hall, a major pay raise is in the works for the city's top attorney. If the mayor signs off on a 30% raise that will be greenlit by the council, Ebony Thompson will become one of the top paid employees in the city. Her salary will go from $188,000 a year to $245,000 a year. Here's taxpayer advocate David Williams about the pay raise.
This is going to have a ripple effect on the city, and really what the citizens want to see, they want to see results. So if they're going to pay upwards of $245,000, they want to see results. They don't want to just say, oh, well, this person deserves it because this is what the post demands. They want to see results from it.
Coming up at 10:30 tonight, we take a look at how much of your tax dollars are going to city agencies under the new budget, plus lingering questions after Commissioner Michael Harrison's announcement that he's leaving. What we're learning about his contract and the timing of his resignation coming up at 10:30.
New tonight, a 21st century tool to combat a decades-old concern: children breaking curfew and causing trouble. But is an emergency alert system to blast out robocalls and text messages citywide the right way to ask, do you know where your children are? Jeff Abel with new calls, texts, and concerns.
In Baltimore lately, the phones have been buzzing with what the city calls an emergency. But listen closely.
Hey, Baltimore, as a reminder, curfew engagement is in effect from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. throughout the summer.
The message seems all too similar to the ones that hit the airwaves decades ago.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
It's 11 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
It's 11 p.m. Do you know where your kids are?
These messages were broadcast as public service announcements, but not this new round of messaging. These messages, which are hitting landlines, cell phones, and text messages, are being broadcast through the city's emergency notification system, the same system that normally alerts residents about severe weather or contaminated water.
It's a misuse of the emergency system.
More than 500,000 city residents have been receiving the messages, which some critics believe are hardly emergencies.
We're talking about a curfew that's non-enforceable. We're talking about curfew centers that are vacant on the weekends. So what was the emergency?
But by deploying the city's emergency notification system, some residents fear the next emergency call they receive may not be taken so seriously.
That's like a person who's going to sit here and lie to you over and over and over again in the moment that they finally in an emergency and they're telling the truth. You don't believe them.
The city says the school district will be sending the next curfew call and is expected to be delivered through the school's own notification system. Jeff Abel, Fox 45 News.
Well, this brings us to our question of the day. Should the emergency alert system be used to send out curfew reminders? We just opened the poll. You can go to foxbaltimore.com/vote to weigh in.
It has been several days since 3 people were killed in a mass shooting in a quiet Annapolis neighborhood. And tonight, a judge ordered 43-year-old Charles Smith to remain behind bars. Fox 45's Amy Simpson takes a closer look at new discrepancies about Smith's past.
In court yesterday morning, Smith's defense attorney said his client has no prior criminal record and suffers from PTSD related to military service and time spent in Afghanistan. But new information today is raising questions about those claims.
Inside of an Annapolis courtroom this week, prosecutors said 43-year-old Charles Smith snapped due to the loud noise of a party on his block Sunday night. Charging documents say a fight over parking prompted Smith to allegedly kill 3 men and injured 3 others in front of his home.
There's still a lot of questions that we have that have not been answered yet.
As investigators say it's too soon to declare a motive, Smith's defense attorney provided a glimpse of the man behind the mugshot, telling a judge Smith is single, lives with his parents, has no prior criminal record, and suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder following his military service and time in Afghanistan. Today, a spokesperson for the U.S. Army confirmed Smith served as an imagery analyst from February 2008 to June 2013, but said Smith had no deployments and held the rank of specialist at the end of service. By phone today, we asked Smith's attorney, Mark House, for clarity on this contradiction. House said that's the information he has about his client, and he's prepared to provide evidence of Smith being in Afghanistan. Today, we also asked the U.S. Army if Smith was honorably or dishonorably discharged from service. That spokesperson said, due to privacy considerations, the U.S. Army does not release characterization of discharge. Reports now also surfacing of a previous criminal charge against this man. An article from the Augusta Chronicle says more than a decade ago, Smith was charged for allegedly stabbing an off-duty police officer who was walking his dog. And while Georgia's online court records don't return details, a 2014 press release says a jury acquitted Smith of aggravated assault. Today, Smith's defense attorney said he's still investigating his client's case. Outside of court Tuesday,
I do not know what it was. I do know that they begged him to stop shooting.
An attorney for the father and son killed Sunday and sister of the third man killed.
We can't keep losing, our loved ones like this, not a week before Father's Day.
Reacted to the defense's courtroom revelation that Smith suffers from PTSD.
Anytime one hears that someone is suffering from PTSD, especially after serving our country, that's significant, and it's not a small issue. However, we don't think it in any way excuses his behavior or the damage that he's done to this family.
This sister, reeling from tragedy, said she won't stop until this is classified as a hate crime.
What happened here is not, an act of PTSD. This is a murder. This was a murder that was committed.
And today, the ATF, the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, did not respond to questions about its involvement in this investigation or about the weapons recovered from the scene there in Annapolis. Meanwhile, Smith is scheduled to be back in court for a preliminary hearing July 12th.